Welcome, one and all, to the Storm Bowling live stream. Wherever you're watching it, I'm not sure where this is going live. It could be on Facebook, it could be on YouTube, it could be everywhere. So, wherever you're watching it, thank you very much for joining me today. This is a part of our little journey giveaway, and where we asked all of you guys to share your journey in bowling, in life, where we picked out a couple of winners. We had a stream a little while ago now, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, where we had 2 of the 3 winners, and we were able to get the 3rd winner now. So that's fantastic. Looking forward to talking to Greg, which we will in a minute. But prior to that, just wanted to say we are at the halfway point of the PBA season. I'm back here at home for a couple of week break. Very excited to be home. It's been a up and down season for me personally. I seem to start very slow in tournaments and then make my way back and then fall off at the end. So this 2-week break or 3-week break is going to be exactly what I need to recharge and have a huge back end of the season for me personally. It's been a interesting season on tour, which I think is always kind of cool. We've had a lot of storylines. We had Carl Troop win the US Open, get that green jacket. And I think it was just a really good show overall. We had some wild moments in that show and across the season. So it's been entertaining, to say the least. Sucks that I haven't done well, but good for everybody else. So, we're going to have a big second half to the season. But this live stream and what we're really going to be talking about is a very important message that we're going to be sharing soon. And so without any further ado, I want to introduce our 3rd journey giveaway winner. And if I can have Greg come into the stream with me. There he is, Greg Bruff. How are you, mate?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Congratulations on being one of our winners. The story that you shared with Storm and I is, it's a bit sad, it's a bit happy, it's a bit inspiring, and so I kind of want to let you tell that story. So tell us, Greg. Tell us where you're from. Tell us who you are and what you've been going through.
Yeah, so my name's Greg Bruff. I currently live in Manchester, Pennsylvania, about a couple hours west of Philadelphia. But yeah, my journey for my recent diagnosis of colorectal cancer occurred a couple years ago. Had just normal issues. I used to work out. I thought I might have had hemorrhoids. I thought I might have had irritable bowel syndrome, but just didn't quite feel right. And I tried to be stubborn about it a little bit, but then I just continued to not feel right. So I did the right thing. I went to a doctor, mentioned a few of my symptoms, got kind of pushed over to the gastrointestinal doctor, and ended up being selected to have a colonoscopy. Didn't think anything of it. I'm 42 now. So in a few years, at age 45, you're really recommended to get screened here in the United States. So I got screened early. I kind of woke up from the colonoscopy, and I was kind of hit with some pretty brutal news that I had cancer. Was kind of eye shocking to me. No family history. Hadn't really had symptoms previously in my life, and then I was set on a new journey and a new battle, and it started with a bunch of tests and everything, and that was in 2022. And after about 6 months of treatment, I was in remission. Everything was going well, and unfortunately, in the middle of 23, I went for one of my routine checkups, and then unfortunately, my cancer had what's called metastasized. It had grown, and then it got elevated to stage 4. Some of the cancer had appeared in my lung, and from there, I've been on continuous treatment ever since, as we really try to figure out what are some long-term options for me, given what I've had. But the key I've had is really just trying to remain as positive as you can through this. And I don't know what life has in store for me in the future, but now my goal is to really just try and make everyone aware, and to just not be stubborn. Talk to their loved ones, talk to their doctor. You just never know colorectal cancer is a March Awareness Month, so we are in the right month to really make everyone aware of this. And it's not just this in general; it's just life in general. It's just the key is just to talk to somebody about it, and whatever problems you're having, because you just never know how they could be. They could be something very simple. It could be something very large like cancer. But the key is just to really not be stubborn, and to talk to whoever you can about it, to really try and figure out what could be going wrong before it becomes really a bigger problem.
Yeah, I mean, mate, look, I don't know what the stereotype is in the United States so much, but back here at home, there is somewhat of a culture where it's tough to not see a doctor. That somehow you're just going to suck it up and man through it. And my wife is a registered nurse. So we do talk medically more than maybe most couples do. And it's the one message she constantly tells me too is there is nothing wrong with checking it out, getting a test, asking a doctor. There's nothing embarrassing. There's nothing soft about it. And so I've gone through with my family, I've seen both ends of the spectrum. My grandfather, Italian culture, an old Italian man, he was like, I'm not going to go see anyone. Why do I got to go see a doctor? I mean, whatever it is. I'll get through it. And unfortunately for him, he had cancer, and he could have extended his life if he was not so stubborn, and he chose not to. And then there are other things where, someone says, I don't feel very good, I'm just going to go get a checkup. My mother did that. She didn't feel great. She wasn't sure what was wrong. She went and got a checkup, and she had breast cancer, but she got it early enough that they were able to clear her, and she's been clear of breast cancer now for over a decade. And so I've seen both ends of the spectrum. And just as you said, to spread the awareness of what is the harm in just double checking. Just do a test. Just if you don't feel right. I'm even going to go one step further and just say, I think I take care of my car better than I do my own body. Like when my car is ready for a service, even if it's running perfectly fine, I will take it to the mechanic to get it serviced. And I'm like, I should service my own body. Like I should probably
That's correct. Yeah.
now and then just check myself in, get an all body done, and
Mm-hmm.
just see if there's anything going on. So I want to ask you these two questions,
Sure.
and I hope they're not too invasive, but I do think your answers might be quite important to hear. First, you mentioned about being positive. From when you did hear your diagnosis to now, the ups and downs, how have you gone through hearing the news, and how have you been able to turn what is terrible news and trying to find the positives? How have you done that?
Yeah, so the hardest part initially, the very first way is the nurses, hey, should we bring in your wife to really talk to her about it? And I was like, you know what, she has to drive me home. I'm a little loopy here, and so I was like, let me at least get home before I break this news. She's in healthcare as well, so she's well adverse. She knows all the risks and everything, and so we got home, and I told her, and we had a moment there where we just both were really had this deer in headlights look, like, what are we going to do next? And that was the toughest part. Is from there, it was just you're just getting hit from all directions with the surgeons, the oncologists, the nurses, scheduling appointment after appointment, and didn't really have too much time to digest the information. But the key is, I kind of like life throws curveballs at you, and you have to make adjustments and you have to pivot. And it was just one of those things that I took it as tough as I could. I just kind of took the blow and rolled with it. I never expected at any point that it was going to affect what I did in life or anything. It was diagnosed as stage 2. I did my normal research, Googling and everything, and we detected it early enough. The doctors were positive, and I was positive as well. The treatment, though, I mean, it was difficult. When you get radiation, it affects everybody differently. And then when you transition into chemotherapy, it affects everyone's differently. And just the daily ups and downs of that 4-month process for me. There was some very tough times in there, some very tough days, some tough moments. But I think I'm very strong headed. I'm very bullheaded. I'm stubborn in some cases, and I kind of took that approach to this. Now, when it came around the second time, that was a different story. You're definitely being told some life expectancy numbers, some curability numbers from the onset. But just like the first time around, it's one of those that, if you're not positive about it and you really let the cancer control you, you can really get into a dark space in your mind, and you can start thinking negative things. And it's one of those things that I kind of always I looked forward to, and bowling was one of them. And the second hobby would be golf. And I'm just like, that's things I want to continue to do. And I've continued to do it throughout my treatment. I've had some times where I've been unable to bowl, but I've been able to participate as much as I can, compete as much as I can. But it has been difficult at times. But I think the key is if you have that strong mental positivity, and you kind of look at things you want to continue to do in your life, whether it be from a career, a bowling, a family perspective, and you look at the other ones who love you, and they're supportive of you, and having a great background of people who are continuously asking me how I'm doing, giving me praise, and you're looking great. And that's the positivity that you need through all this. And if you don't have that, it will make this process very, very difficult.
Mate, look, I don't know how I would handle or deal with it. Listening to you talk, hearing your story, I can tell you unequivocally that you are an incredible guy, and the way that you are handling this. You did mention that you love to bowl, and something that I was unaware of until you told me, but maybe no one else is quite aware of this, is you can actually bowl pretty good. I think it was in 2011 that you actually came home with a PBA regional. Kind of walk me through that.
Yeah, so I grew up bowling in an alley much like you. I actually spent my early years in England. So there was a bowling alley. I kind of lived in there quite a bit. Um, you know, Participated in junior leagues and everything. Bowled collegially at Saginaw Valley with some great teammates. Bill O'Neill, bowled with him for a couple years at college. And after that, I didn't know. I was okay, wasn't great, but my last year of college, I really put a lot of effort into practicing. So I graduated in 2004, and then I really wasn't good enough to go professional. At that level, you kind of know if you have it and you don't have it. But I was very competitive. I could compete, probably more pattern specific at that time, but I just continued to practice. Got better on the local scene, traveled around the Northeast a little bit, bowled a few regionals here or there early on. And then probably in the late 2000s, after I recovered from an injury, I really started really vamping up and really becoming a heck of a lot better bowler. I kind of understood my game a lot. I was able to make the adjustments that you need to make. And in 2011, I entered a local regional. It was about an hour from my house in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. Um, the first couple of games on the fresh, I had a very, very good look. Kind of hit some transition with some other lefties and pair to pair, but really kind of fell back a little bit. But I shot around 250 or so my last game of qualifying. Got to right around where I thought the number would be. Went home, watched some of the scores, figured I should go back in case there was a tie. Luckily, I qualified a couple pins ahead of the number. I was the only lefty to qualify. Came back the next day, looked and saw there was no lefties, and realized, you know what, I have a very, very good look on the fresh.
That is a sign that all lefties love to see. They walk in, lips start getting licked, and hands start.
They were exactly what it was. Is like, I'm the only lefty. It's fresh. I have a 240 ball reaction on the fresh. Nobody knew who I was. I was in last spot. The only loss I had in match play was to Danny Wiseman. Danny Wiseman has multiple tour titles.
Respectable loss. No problem losing to Danny Wiseman.
Exactly. Lost to Danny. Ryan Schaefer was in the field. So Ryan Schaefer and I, we were on top. I mean, we were clear on the field by hundreds of pins. We got to the last match for bowling for the top seed there, and he got up in the 10th. He threw a strike. Went high on the next one. I had to double to clinch the top seed, and through the double. Got a little late trip 7 there, and then I was the high seed for the step ladder. Once again, bowled on fresh. I threw 2 balls on each lane, and that was essentially didn't want to mess up my own pattern, and was able to take down Joe Paluzik, who's a good local bowler, kind of a half nemesis of yours in the one-handed, two-handed industry.
He can only be a nemesis if you actually bowl, finals.
True.
Like, if you're never in the finals with me, it's very hard to be a nemesis of mine.
True. I'll give you that dig for sure. I will absolutely give you. I'll give you that.
He
dig.
deserves it. All right. All the crap that he and all his buddies talk about two-handed bowling.
Yeah.
I
took him down in the final for you in 2011.
Good for you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So he gave me hell for many years, and I said, Joe, I still bowl against him today. We got to stop talking about it. I beat you. It happens. You had a stone 9. You had a stone 9 pin in there that kind of hurt a little bit, but you have a couple regionals. I have my one crystal trophy. I bowled a couple regionals since then. Never was able to enter.
If he had a bowl two-handed, he would have messengered that 9 pin.
Yeah, he would have. Yeah, I'll have to let him know that next time. So that was my top.
You win the regional. Obviously, your diagnosis happens 10 years later. But let's fast forward to today. I heard that you still love to try and bowl and to go golfing, and so. Are you able to bowl regularly now, or is it day to day, night to night? See how you're feeling.
Yeah, so I typically now have a good week and a bad week. So I get treatment every 2 weeks, typically on a Wednesday. I get disconnected on a Friday. I use that weekend to recover. And then the following week, I start to feel gradually better. So if it's an off week, we have... I split a spot with a guy on Monday leagues. I bowl Wednesdays on my off weeks if I can. Mix in some local tournaments, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm still very competitive today. My energy level kind of goes up and down. I manage it accordingly with making sure I keep the right fluids in me, keep the right energy. Everything. And I've bowled a few 299s, a few 300s, a few 800s in the last few months. So my game is there. I'm very, very comfortable with it. still think if I had the time to practice, I think I could still go out there and be very competitive, and that's my goal, especially over the next 7 years until I get to the PBA 50 tour, and then my goal on PBA 50 is to go full time.
Greg, I don't know if you're familiar with this or not, but in June, I don't know the dates off the top of my head. I have to check it out. The PBA Tour Finals, which is the top 8 players over the last couple of seasons, are coming to Bethlehem I think it's in Pennsylvania. I don't know how far away that is from you, but I would love to organize some TV tickets for you, your wife, your kids, whoever you really want to go. I can get you a bunch of tickets for that. And so I'll be able to shake your hand in person because I'll be there, there in Bethlehem. Would love to be able to do that if you're feeling up to it.
Yeah, I should be. Yeah, Bethlehem, an hour and a half away, give or take. So yeah, that would be awesome. I'd be definitely up for it and looking forward to it.
All right, we'll keep in contact prior to that, and I'll hook you up with some of those tickets. Greg, amazing story. If you are out there listening to Greg right now, I think the key message to your health is to go and get checked. There is only positives can come about finding something early, whether or not you're feeling tip-top or you're feeling a little bit off. I think I'm going to do that, Greg. I'm definitely going to go and see my doctor more regularly. I'm going to get those checkups, kind of do those scans, just to give myself a service like I would my car. And hearing your story and just seeing your outlook on life, it's remarkable. You're a remarkable guy. I'm very much looking forward to now that we're going to organize to see each other in Bethlehem. I'd love to meet you.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to meeting you, and you hit the nail on the head. You gotta not be stubborn. You gotta be more of your mom more of your grandma instead of more of your grandfather. And if you get more of that optimism, and you get more of that, hey, I'm going to go get checked down and get my body serviced and looked at, and you catch any disease early, and you have a much higher success of overcoming it and living a long, healthy life. So I appreciate being selected to be a winner. I appreciate the absolute power that got delivered. I had a journey thanks to Michael Slatke, who kind of entered me into the contest here, and I'm glad to be able to be on here today.
Mate, so good to talk to you. Like I said, we're going to see each other in June. You're going to bring your family with you and watch some of the best bowling in the world. And listen, you say, you weren't ready for the PBA Tour, but I don't know. Listen, if you can take down Ryan Schaefer, Joey Pelusic, Danny Wiseman and win a regional, you had a little something there, mate.
I did.
A little something
I did, yeah.
So
yeah. I
maybe
definitely
get
did.
That juices revitalized watching the tour finals. And like you said, in a few years, we're going to see you on the senior tour. That's what we want.
Absolutely.
I appreciate your time, mate. Thank you for joining us, Greg. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is our third and final winner of the Journey Series giveaway. What a remarkable guy. Like I said, when I was talking to Greg, hearing news like that, I don't know how I would go with that. So I think it's probably better for me, this is my personal opinion, is to just get checked regularly and talk to my doctors, and if something feels a bit off, don't be so hard-headed and stubborn and put it off. Just make an appointment, check yourself out. And just like Greg says, the earlier you find anything, no matter what it is, the higher your percentages are to beat it. And I want to be around here for a while. So that's what I'm going to do. Congratulations again to Greg, and obviously our two other winners, which you can see there on the screen, Travis and Noah, who we spoke to a few weeks ago. I can't thank everyone enough for your support of Journey, the ball, the amount of tags in social media posts for 300s, 800s, high games, high series, using journey. It has been overwhelming. And I just want to thank everybody that has enjoyed the ball, that has supported myself and supported Storm. So again, thank you very, very much. I'm going to love you and leave you now. And next time you see me on a screen like this, I'm hoping I'm bowling for a title, hopefully. So it's going to be a big second half of the year for me and for Storm bowling. I just feel it in my bones. It's going to be a big second half. So keep an eye out, pba.com, for all those PBA news and scores to follow along. You can also follow me on my social media pages specifically. And of course, make sure you're following Storm Bowling on all of their networks, including their YouTube pages. They give great information about bowling and bowling balls. Updates for things like this journey contest and other contests where you can win free stuff. And who doesn't want to win free stuff? Free stuff is cool. So make sure you're following the boys and girls at stormbowling.com. But like I said, it's time for me to go. I got daddy stuff to do, husband stuff to do. I've got a list of errands to run. Lucky me, come home and there's a nice list of things around the house that I got to do. So I'm going to get cracking into that. But I bid you farewell. Be good. Peace. Love you guys.